to get this show on the road, I would like to take this moment to give Skip and Amber Bueller and their daughter Sophia. And they have another daughter called Claire. And the reason why this one's kind of important is Skip has done multiple research on other homes, but his was in Plaque. And Skip's been a member, your family's been a member for a long time.
Since like
2011? Yeah, and stuff. So, all right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put my mask up, so I'm a good girl. Here you go.
Yay!
Yay! And now, Jim's going to talk about Skip's house.
Yeah. This is called the S.B. Starrett House, and it's dated circa 1890. The Starrett House is a bit of a mystery in terms of its exact date of construction. According to the Washington County website, it was built in 1890 in what is known as the Cherokee Strip, taking its name from the infamous strip of land in Oklahoma. Forest Grove's Cherokee Strip lies between the Clarke Historic District and the Painters Woods South Park District, running east to west and is roughly 80 feet wide. The Starrett House lot is attached to and legally located south of Block 37, Lot 1. The house is a modest farmhouse in the late 19th century vernacular style, which is closely related stylistically to the other houses built in the Cherokee Strip, as opposed to the South Park homes, which are typically more modern and date from 1900 and 1920. This suggests that it was here before Starrett, adding to the mystery. The land was first allotted to Harvey Clarke's daughter Mariah, but as she never developed it, it had found its way into the M.H. Myers' possession, who in turn sold the lot to John E. Showers in June of 1890, the estimated building date. In that year, John E. Showers and his wife Emily lived somewhere else in Forest Grove at that time, and they never seem to have lived in what's known as the Starrett House. In April of 1902, the Showers sold the lot with any and all property thereon for $200 to Stephen B. Starrett. What a bargain, $200. Who was a home builder and recent arrival to the Forest Grove. He had just arrived from Silverton, Oregon with his brother Ferdinand, who was a noted architect, and their respective families. The two brothers served in the Union Army during the war years in Pennsylvania, where they were born in the town of Warren, Pennsylvania. Stephen fought in the Battle of Gettysburg. Once the war concluded, the Starrett brothers followed each other west, going back to their adult years in Tecumseh, Nebraska. Ferdinand would draw up the architectural plans for buildings, and Stephen and his son Porter C. would build them. A few buildings constructed by the brothers survive in Silverton, but many more were likely raised in the name of progress. Once at Forest Grove, Stephen became deeply involved in city politics and was a passionate spokesman for prohibition. Boo. Both he and son Porter served on the city council for many terms. The carpentry shop that Stephen and Porter shared sat on 19th Avenue, just east of Main Street, where the food carts are currently doing business. Some of the buildings credited to the Starrett construction team include the Congregational Church, which burned in 1919, the Oddfellows Hall, the Methodist Church, the Lavina Watt House, which is down here on the corner, and the Forest Grove National Bank building. Stephen also owned an apple orchard off Martin Road near the current Oregon Roses Nursery. He was at work in early January 1914, completing the Littler Pharmacy space in the National Bank building the day of his paralytic stroke, from which he never regained consciousness. After Stephen passed away at the age of 74, Porter, his son, and his wife Laura, Porter's wife Laura, continued to live in the Starrett House, where they raised their son Clyde. And Clyde was born in this house in 1911. Porter seems to have met Laura in his younger days, as Laura also came from Tecumseh. Laura was socially active and wrote music and songs, and some of which were copywritten and published. At the time of Stephen's death, the Starrett House property was appraised at $2,000. Good markup. Porter continued the contracting business as well as serving on the city council and was a prominent member of the Masonic Order. He had served as a captain in the Spanish-American War fighting in the Philippines, and Porter is credited with the construction of the new Masonic Temple on Main Street and is also credited with getting a military unit established at Forest Grove. And that was about 1916, 17, right? Just prior to World War I. Porter, Laura, and Clyde moved out of the house to San Mateo, California around 1935. At some point, circa 1931, the Starrett property was transferred to Porter's sister, Harriet Starrett Robinson, who lived in the heart of Oregon, and she likely rented out the house. So various folks owned the house until the 1980s. Later homeowners include the Williams, the Fagan, the Tucker, and finally, Doyle and Amber Bueller. The Tuckers made renovations and some additions to the structure, including a second-story bedroom to the southern exposure, and the Buellers added a solar-powered outbuilding in the backyard. Thank you for keeping our country green.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a narrative on the Starrett House, and much of this, all of it, is attributed to Skip's research.
Yeah, I've been researching this house since we moved here. I had a little bit, as you can tell, too much information, but we love living here. Beautiful house.
It's hard to believe that it was just 2 bedrooms.
Right.
With
so
everything from here on was an addition. Yeah, so it was just this.
we're still not totally sure when this bottom half of the house was there, but it shows it in like the 1980 or 70 period, it being there. And then the Tuckers, who lived there, who owned it before us, they added the bedroom upstairs and then a bathroom upstairs.
Yeah, it was basically 4 rooms. I mean, basically you just walk in and there's a dining/living room, a kitchen, and 2 bedrooms upstairs, and that is it from the original, like how it was originally made.